Dead by Daylight. Is it worth a buy? Let's read the words of the developer. Let's read. Dead by Daylight is a multiplayer 4 versus 1 horror game where one player takes on the role of a savage killer and the other 4 players play as survivors, trying to escape the killer and avoid being caught and killed. Survivors play in third person and have the advantage of better situational awareness. The killer plays in first person and is more focused on their prey. The survivor's goal in each encounter is to escape the killing ground without getting caught by the killer. Sometimes that sounds easier than it is, especially when the environment changes every time you play. Yes guys, this is just a preview of one of the procedurally generated maps that you get. I don't know how many killers you get in this. This is just a beta. If you buy the digital deluxe, I think you get 3 beta keys with it. 1 for yourself and 2 for your mates, and that's $18.39, which is currently on special. Its normal price is $22.99 and the normal game by itself is £15, but that's on special as well at the minute. It's 20% off. So what is it then? Well, as I've just explained, it's one of these monster hunt games. There's been a lot of these out over the last few years really. None of them have been brilliant. This is probably the best of the bunch so far, but it's also the more expensive of the bunch so far. It isn't cheap at £15 considering it has no single player whatsoever, no AI whatsoever. It's purely based on multiplayer. You have to play this in multiplayer, and I've found already that to be freaking annoying, but this is just the beta. You know, getting into a game, it was like, well, here's a time lapse of it. It took about 15 minutes, I think. It was just so annoying. But playing the game is fun. So essentially what you do is, on this map that you get, as a survivor, you have got to escape the map. You do that by starting up the generators, which power the door. You then flick the switch on the door opens and you can escape the level. Sounds easy, but it isn't, because when you try to start a generator, they just won't start. You have to keep fixing them. If there's a few of you there, you can cooperatively repair it faster than just by yourself. The problem is, the killer knows when you're doing stuff, because he will be alerted on the map by way of a glow and a sound that there's somebody trying to start that specific generator, and he can move quite quickly, and he's got a machete and a hockey mask. He is Jason Voorhees. So as the player, you start and get very anxious. Your heart starts beating. The faster it beats, the closer he is. You can't outrun him. You can try to slow him down by walking through these barricades that you can trigger by pressing the space bar, and this like a little blockade will appear in front of the killer, who either has to smash it or walk around it, which gives you valuable seconds to get away and hide. And the secret is, guys, as I found out to my horror, you cannot outrun this guy. Your best bet is to just get out of his line of sight and hide somewhere so that he can't actually see you, and then hopefully he'll walk away and you'll escape. It's very, very atmospheric in that sense. It's very scary in that sense as well. You're kind of shitting yourself. Also worth mentioning is, as a survivor, you have no defenses. You have defenses, you can't attack really and fight off the killer. You are constantly just running. You do have a torch. If you've got a torch, you can shine the torch in his face, which will temporarily blind him, giving you then precious seconds to get away. Also as well, if he's carrying one of your teammates away to hang on a meat hook and you shine him in the face with a torch, he will drop that person, but you only have seconds. You literally only have seconds to get away from him. Where the problem is on the survivor side is it's third person. I jumped in a locker and I could see, or it's like having a invisible drone with a camera on following you everywhere you go. You can see everything all the time, which ruined it for me. If I'm hiding behind a crate, I just want to see the crate. That's all I want to see, the fucking crate. If I want to see over the crate, I have to stand up, at which point I will be visible to the killer. That's what I want in a game. I don't want this fucking camera above us that's just easy mode fucking hacks, because that's all it is. When I'm in a locker, and you can hide in lockers, you know, they've got the obligatory lockers. When I go in a locker, I want to shut that door. I want to see darkness or a little crack in the locker that I can peep through. That's it, because that is fucking scary. But no, I get remote fucking TV camera revolving around the locker, and I can see which way he's coming from, how close he is to the locker. I can see everything, and it's absolutely fucking awful. It just saps the immersion out of the game. And I don't understand why they did it. They didn't need to do it. I've seen nothing in this game, balance-wise, that makes me think, that's why you did it. No, there's no reason. I mean, as you level up, you get perks, you get abilities. You've got this blood web thing that gives you other abilities that you can use. You can make the map more foggy. You can make it so that he can't see you very well. Balance can be done in way better ways than having a third-person camera. And do you know the real reason there's third person in? Do you want to know the real reason? It's not about balance. No, it's so that we can see the time and effort they've put into the fancy fucking graphics. They can see this cinematic view as you try to climb over or through a window and he grabs your leg and pulls you back, because you wouldn't see any of that in first person. Not from the angle of the cinematics. It's all about the fucking movies. It's about the fucking... I don't want a movie. When I play a game, the last thing on my mind is a movie. I don't want a fucking movie. I don't want a cutscene. I don't want cinematics. I want a fucking immersive game that I can play. I want to be that person running away. I want to see through his eyes. I want to experience the terror that he's going through, or she. You know, I don't want a cinematic fucking movie of a guy grabbing me leg as I'm climbing through a window. I don't want that. I don't... But I've got it. So anyway, as the killer stalks his prey, he hits them once and that slows them down and causes them to bleed, and you can see the blood trails and all that. Hits them again, they're down but not out. He then picks them up and hangs them on a meat hook, which again is all cinematically done. Nice. And then the guy's on the meat hook and he can try to escape. Bit of RNG, I think. I've never managed to escape. Other players can come and lift them off, as I've rescued somebody and I've been rescued, but I've never been able to get off that meat hook myself. And then eventually you get sacrificed if you can't get off that hook after a certain amount of time. These like a spider's claw things come and stick in you. I don't know how that works, and cart you off to wherever the hell you're going, but you're dead and you're out of the game. Again, all nicely done in cinematics. It's all about the cinematics. It's all about the cinematics, guys. The days of first-person immersion are slowly but surely diminishing in favour of, we got to see the lovely graphics. Look at that. Isn't it awesome, man? It's got his legs. He's gone through the window, man. Look at that, man. Fucking awesome, man. So anyway, as you progress through the game, like I said, you get perks, and a lot of these perks give you a lot of cool looking abilities. You get first aid kits, for example, which so you can bandage yourself up when you're wounded or help a friend who's wounded, because if you get hit you bleed. You also start shouting and screaming, and all these things will attract the killer to your area. I haven't seen a great deal more of what you can get in the perks and abilities, because again it's just a beta that's out at the minute, but I can tell you that the gameplay is fun despite the third person camera spoiling a bit of the immersion. It is still a fun game, and it will be great fun with your friends, and you can set up your own servers and play with your friends and lock out all the people that you don't want. So that's an option as well. You also can choose to be the killer or a survivor. It's not like a lot of the other games where you are randomly thrown in as a killer or a survivor. You can actually choose that. So you would simply say, I want to be the killer, start your own lobby, people then join that lobby. There are difficulties at the minute in that, which I've found, but I'm sure a lot of that will get patched out. Is it worth buying? Well, we're going to have to leave that question until the actual game is released. This is just a preview. There's nowhere near enough to judge yet. The combat does seem quite okay. It runs fine on my system. There's not many options. You can't rebind your keys. There's hardly any graphical options. It's all bare bones at the minute, but it is fun. I had fun. I think it might be a bit too pricey, mine, but we'll have to just see. And I also have a sneaking feeling there's going to be a shed load of DLCs coming for this. Hopefully just cosmetic, but I doubt it. I just have a feeling that the DLCs are going to ruin this game. I really do. I just don't. Something just. I don't know what it is. I just feel that there's going to be a bit of a problem with the DLCs with this game. Hopefully there isn't, because I would love to see this game work. I'd love to see it get some great maps. It needs a lot more game modes than just starting up generators. It needs a lot more depth. It's going to get boring extremely quick as it is now. It needs a hell of a lot more, but there is a lot more coming. So there you go, guys. That's Dead by Daylight, a monster slashing game. if you're interested in this, you may want to keep an eye out for Friday the 13th, which is also coming out, I believe, this year, which looks freaking great as well. So I'll be doing a full review of this when it is launched, probably around about the 14th of this month.